How's it, everyone? Welcome to 2025 right here on OpenCourt. I'm Kent, and today on this video I'm going over the gear that I'm looking forward to testing the most in the year of 2025. So to be clear, not all of the gear that I'm going to be talking about in this video is coming out this year in 2025. Some of these gear has been out for many years actually, but I've never tried them. So I made a list, 5 rackets and 5 strings that I'm looking forward to trying this year to review, test, and hit with for the first time and create reviews for you guys. So this is not a list in terms of number 1 through number 5. This is just a general what I'm looking forward to. So first, let's just quickly start with the 5 rackets that I'm looking forward to trying this year. So number 1, you guys probably know already that there is a new 𝐕𝐸 coming out. So the Yonex 𝐕𝐸 98 version 8 will be releasing in 2025. I was never a huge fan of the 𝐕𝐸. I actually own the DR98. That racket is fine. It's a little stiff and it's a little hard to control for me. I did buy it used secondhand in Japan, and so the previous owner might have kind of tampered with it, but everybody raves about that racket. I didn't love it. The version 6 or the 7, sorry, the 7 was the one before this, which I actually did really like. I did review that on my channel. So I think the 𝐕𝐸 is trending in the right direction, and I'm very excited to try the 98 version 8. So next on my list is the new head Gravity Tour. So the Gravity line is getting a facelift. They're getting a new paint job. It looks pretty nice. The colorway looks very similar to the Boom now with the blue and the black. I didn't love the first generation of the Gravity. It was very soft and muted. They have gone a little bit more feel oriented, but the Gravity line, to be honest, is not my favorite line in the head lineup. It's too soft, too muted usually, but the Tour has different specs, so I'm excited to try out this Tour. Next up, there's the new Pure Drive coming out. So I've never been a huge fan of the Pure Drive either. I briefly owned the 2015 edition, which looks like this, and then I did also briefly own the 2018 edition, which had a Japan cosmetic for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, which looks like this. I didn't really love it. Those were the standard Pure Drive 100s. If the Pure Drive 98 releases this year, that is a racket I'm definitely excited to try out because I've never tried that. Also, on a side note, I do want to try the Pure Aero 98 too because I never got a chance to try that either. Babolat rackets are hard to come by here because there is no local vendor that stocks Babolat demos, and Tennis Warehouse and Tennis Express don't ship to Hawaii. But I might be able to get my hands on that. There is a vendor in Hawaii that I found that might stock it, so I'm gonna try to see if I can try the new Pure Drive. Next up, another head racket. The Radical is getting a new paint job as well. I don't know about the specs, but the Radical line was the racket that I used all throughout high school. The Liquid Metal MP is one of my favorite rackets of all time. I used that through all 4 years of high school. I did review that on my channel as well. It's a classic racket review, and I have liked the Radical line since they introduced graphene. The Radical Pro was my favorite. There is a new one coming out. I am gonna test it if I can, but I'm probably not gonna buy it because my game has kind of shifted away from the Radical. But it's a very well-rounded, all-around racket. It doesn't shine in any one particular category like power or spin, but it is known as a people's racket because it's highly customizable. A lot of people can use it, a lot of people love it. So the Radical, there's a new one coming out. And lastly, number 5, this is not really a singular racket, but I am going to try to get my hands on any Technifiber racket that I can find. I heard that there's a new T-Fight coming out. I've never used any Technifiber racket in my life. The TF40, the T-Fight series are popular, I know. I want to try to get my hands on a Technifiber racket to try for the first time. I love their strings. The 4S is my favorite poly of theirs because it has incredible spin and control. Their multi-filament line is very popular. The Technifiber biphase, obviously. The HDMX is a great string, but also the Triax is probably my favorite non-poly, non-natural gut string out there. So I do want to try a Technifiber Technifiber racket if I can get the chance. Maybe the new T-Fight because I've never tried a Technifiber racket before. All right, so now let's get into the 5 strings that I'm excited to try most in 2025. I don't know any new strings that are releasing this year. I looked all across the internet and I couldn't find any information on new strings releasing. So the strings on my list, the 5, are strings that have already been released. Some of these have been out for many years. But without further ado, the first string that I want to try is the Toro line Otoro. So I'm actually in the middle of trying their Caviar. That's going to be my first string review of 2025. And I gotta say, I'm loving that string. One of my friends that I play with actually recommended that string to me, and I was a little hesitant because I tried their Wasabi, which a subscriber sent to me, and I did not like that string at all. It was super soft, springy, and unpredictable. And he actually also sent me a Caviar set of Caviar as well. So I was going to review that, but I kind of pushed it off because I wasn't too impressed with a Wasabi. But I tried it, I'm loving it. That review is going to be up hopefully next week. That's going to be my first string review of 2025. And so I'm excited to try the Otoro because the same friend that said Caviar was good, he also said he recommends the Otoro. That's the string he uses himself, so I'm excited to try that string. Next up, we got the Wilson Champion's Choice. So I love natural gut. If money wasn't an issue, I would use a natural gut main, polycross, no questions asked, for every single match that I play. And the Wilson Champion's Choice is a prepackaged natural gut. It is Roger Federer's string of choice. It has the Wilson Natural in the mains, Luxilon Alu Power Rough in the cross. I have used Luxilon Alu Power Rough as a cross with Babolat VS. I've never tried Wilson Natural, but I imagine it's gonna probably play the same. But I'm excited to try this hybrid. It's Roger Federer's string of choice, and I love natural gut. Next up, we got Grapple Snake Tour M8. So Grapple Snake is another one of those companies that are not one of the main ones you're not gonna find on Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Express, or any of those big name, big box retailers. And I'm trying to branch out and try some of those strings as well. It's hard to get here in Hawaii, but Grapple Snake was a company that subscribers have told me about. And I looked on their site, and the Tour M8 is the string that catches my attention the most. It's an 8-sided string, hence the M8, and I love shaped strings because they grab the ball well. But it's 8-sided, meaning it's probably not too sharp, and those super sharp edges usually leads to unpredictable launch angles. An M8 or 8-sided string will probably be a little bit more predictable for better control. So this is a string that I'm going to try to get my hands on and try my first string review of Grapple Snake. Next up, we got the Terna Big Hitter Deuce. So this string, shout out to my subscriber who recommended this string in the comments. I released a video of the Terna Big Red versus the Big Hitter Blue, and the commenter said that this Big Hitter Deuce is a hybrid of both of those strings, and it's not a hybrid in the traditional sense where it's one string in the mains and one string in the cross. It's actually the Big Red and Big Hitter Blue string is fused together in one solid string. It's one extruded string melded together, which I've never seen before, and that's super interesting. So I want to I want to get my hands on the Terna Big Hitter Deuce to test it because I love both the Big Red and Big Hitter Blue. I'm really curious how it's going to play in an actual hybrid string. And lastly, the string that was sent to me actually was True Pro Ghostwire. So the Pure Rush that they also sent to me was one of my favorite strings of 2024. I was very impressed with that. They also sent me a set of Ghostwire. They said it's a little bit on the softer side. It's a simple round poly. It's meant to be a poly cross in a hybrid setup, but I am going to test it as a main. I already strung it in my speed, so I'm going to start playing with it very soon. And I will release a hybrid experiment review of Pure Rush in the mains and the Ghostwire in the crosses sometime in the future, so look forward to that. So that was all the gear that I'm looking forward to trying the most this year in 2025. I know I must have missed a whole ton, so if you guys know any other rackets or strings that you might know of releasing this year, or any other strings that are from years past that you think I should try, please leave them in the comments down below. I'm excited to hear your guys' suggestions. I'm always looking for new gear to try and new content to film, so I appreciate your guys' input. And as always, if you guys like this content, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on an open court.